Okay, we'll get started. Hello, everybody, and welcome to session 4 of our Technology and Aging series. This is a partnership that New Jersey Advocates for Aging Well is doing with Disability Rights New Jersey and the fantastic team at ATAC. We've been happy to do this with Mike Murata and Naomi Leibowitz because we feel that this is such an important thing to help people understand technology as they age and how it can help them maintain their independence, maintain their dignity, their choice, and keep them connected. So any of the past sessions are recorded and are on our website, njaaw.org, under past events. We invite you to come and look at them. And this also will be sent out to everybody who registered. We'll send you the link in the next couple of days. So today we're going to talk about universal design and accessible communities, which is a very important topic. And our guest speaker is Linda Chinman Pollock, who is from Setting the Stage. We're going to turn it over to her to start talking about our homes and universal design and how they can help. Linda, you can take it away.
Actually, who's controlling the slides?
I am.
Okay.
Give me 1 second because I was just going to do a brief overview.
Oh, I jumped ahead. Sorry.
But that's okay. I will hand it over in 2 seconds. This will be very brief. If you want today's slide, you can either take a snapshot shot of the QR code or go to this bit.ly link. Capitals are important. I will put it in the chat for you, and you can click on it if you want the slides.
Thank you.
And this is us, a team of 2. Mike, who will be joining us shortly, and I'm Naomi.
It's a powerful team of 2.
Yes, it
Powerful.
is.
We used to be a team of 4, but people moved on to bigger and better things. So we back to a team of 2 again. And please, we love to hear from you. So turn on your mics, use the chat, raise your hand. We want to make this as interactive as possible. Ask your questions. Just a little bit about us. We are the New Jersey AT resource for New Jersey. We do device demos, which is just comparing and contrasting devices and features, and then you get to decide which device you want to try with our AT loan program, which is a wonderful program because it's free to all New Jersey. So you could get to try devices before you buy, which is amazing because instead of spending a lot of money for a piece of equipment to gather dust, you get to try it. And we also have a device reuse program where we get wheelchairs, canes, walkers, and everything else you can imagine that are donated, and we put it back out into the community for reuse for a nominal fee. And just a couple of tech spotlights if you want to learn more about technology. These are great. And I will hand it over to you, Linda. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Hi, everybody. I'm Linda Pollock. I'm the owner of Setting the Stage. I'm a certified aging in place specialist and a certified living in professional. And we're talking about what is aging in place. So it's the ability to live in one's own home and community safely, independently, and comfortably, regardless of age, income, or ability level. Your home is filled with your memories, your things, and you want to remain in it, but your life circumstances have changed and moving freely and safely in your home has become more of a challenge. With the proper modifications to your home, you can stay there. Working with a CAPS or CLIPS specialist is the way to start the process. Next slide, please. Okay, how can universal design help individuals be safer? It allows family members to be safer. As a CAP specialist, I'm on a mission to modify homes so that individuals with compromised abilities, either from aging issues or because of disability, can age in place or live in place, staying comfortably in the home they love. This presentation allows us to dive into some of the ways to be safer in your home. If you have any questions, please feel free to call me. We offer a free 30-minute telephone consultation. So you can go to our website and complete the contact form, and then you'll be taken to a calendar where you can set up that free consultation. Next slide. Okay, so there are many ways to enter a home, and this is what we call a no threshold entryway. It is the safest entrance to a home. Unfortunately, in our area, it's very hard to find homes like this because most of them have stairs or steps of some sort. But if you're out of this area, it's much easier to find communities that build their homes with these no threshold. This is great for people with walkers, with wheelchairs, and it is definitely the safest method of entering a home. Next slide. Lighting. Oh, you went too far. Okay, exterior lighting. It is so important that everybody have lots of lighting at the outside of their home. You can see all the stairs here, and you can see that the stairs are well lit. Okay, and that's very crucial. And it's not just about you being able to enter your home. Part of, when somebody is aging or has a disability, socialization is a very big part of, staying healthy mentally and everything. And being able to have people come to your home safely is extremely important. But being able to see the steps clearly lessens the risk of falls. And night vision diminishes. And without all the proper lighting, it becomes extremely hard to see the steps. Next slide, please. Ramps versus stair lifts. So there are a lot of times I go to clients' homes and they can't do the stairs. And depending on the entryway to their house, some houses can have a ramp outside of it. The picture on the left happens to be my next door neighbor's house. Sorry about all the fire engines noise. The ramp had to be installed because the wife had a hip and knee replacement. The husband got a very bad case of COVID and ended up very weak and couldn't do the stairs. For him, this is temporary. For his wife, this is permanent. She might not ever be able to do the stairs again, but you see how small the ramp is? It's very easy. For some homes, you cannot put a ramp in. It just does not work. So how to get access to your house? There are exterior stair lifts. So here's a picture on the right of an exterior stair lift that was installed at a client's home. And they're very easy to use. And you can, contact us and we can take care of it for you. But stair lifts are a great option if you don't have the room for a ramp. Next slide, please. Bathrooms. Bathrooms are the most unsafe room in a house. Everybody always asks me, what is the biggest risk in a house? And I always tell them a bathroom. So to give you two different examples, the bathroom on the left is beautiful and everybody would love to have it, but it's not great for somebody who is having any type of fall risk. So you look at that great big beautiful shower, but it has a threshold, so you have to be able to walk over that little step, but there's nothing to hold on to. There's absolutely no grab bars anywhere near there, and holding on to the glass is not safe. And then if you want to use the bathtub, how do you get into that bathtub safely? Okay, there's no grab bars, there's nothing to hold on to except for the edge of the tub, and tubs are very slippery, so that's not safe. The bathroom on the right is the proper ADA bathroom. It has zero transition floor right into the shower, has a beautiful shower seat, which is a fold-up seat. We use this all the time because somebody who needs to have a seat can flip it down and there they go, and somebody who doesn't need it can just flip it right up and it's out of the way. What's nice about this shower is it also has the adjustable handheld shower head. So, you can use that with grab bars installed in the right places. That toilet is a comfort height toilet. with a fold up grab bar right next to it, which is also very nice. Typically, I like to put them on both sides, but in this bathroom, it just wasn't going to work. They didn't put one in on the other side. And then you have the handicapped accessible sink, which can be used with a walker or a wheelchair. It's lovely to have, but this bathroom is the perfect handicapped accessible bathroom. And we love to use this as a great example. Next slide, please. All right, these slides are a little out of order, but we can go back to the front entry. So typically what somebody just, hold on. I just lost my screen.
We see it.
I know you do, but I can't because somebody
Okay.
just rang on my phone and I just lost screen. Hold on. Trying to get it back now. Nope. Sorry, I don't know what just happened. I see you. Okay, I can see it, but it's very small. So this is this is typical what you will see in our area. The picture on the left, I don't know if you can see this, but it has no handrails. Okay, typically when I do this presentation, I do a whole interactive thing, but with this today, it's a little shorter. So the problem with the stairs on the left is they have no handrails. This is not safe. Okay, you have nothing to hold on to, and especially in the bad weather, stairs can be very slippery. If you're holding bags, you kind of need something to hold on to be, safer. On the right, you can see the picture with the handrails. That is a good example of how front entryways should look. It makes everything a lot safer. So we'll go on to the next slide. Ooh, I can't see this because it's so small. Hold on one second. Let me just, okay. Over one, I can't read this. Can someone else read this? Because it's too small on my computer.
Sure. It's on statistics on who falls. Over 1 in 4 seniors fall every year, but only half report falling, which is interesting. Falling once doubles the chance of falling again. 72.8% of falls occur at home, and 30% of them are hospitalized. Every 13 seconds, an older adult goes to an emergency room as a result of a fall. Fall death rates increased 30% from 2000 to 2016. And by 2030, every hour, 7 people will die as a result of a fall. Wow, those are sobering statistics.
Very sobering. And that's why I make sure that this slide gets put in on all my presentations, because it's so important for people to realize how they need to have their homes prepared and prepared before they need it.
Mm-hmm.
Next slide, please. Widening of doorways. So this was a bathroom that I did for a client whose wife ended up in a wheelchair after she had knee and hip replacement. Before, in their this is their hall bathroom, their master bathroom, the hallway was too narrow for her even to get into the bathroom. And her husband actually had to carry her into that bathroom until we got to them and did this bathroom. So in order for her to be able to use this bathroom, first we had to widen the doorway. Okay, it was 24 inches before, and then it became 36 inches afterwards. And we also took out a bathtub and put in a roll-in shower for her. So now she has her own perfectly well-used, handicapped accessible bathroom. Next slide, please. Okay, when I do an assessment of the entire house or apartment. And one of the things I do is I give everybody a written report with detailed pictures of exactly what needs to be done. And this was in an apartment in Fort Lee. Great apartment, beautiful views of New York. But there were a few issues with her. She had aphasia, so she would speak, but no sound came out of her mouth. And she was, because of having aphasia, which is a neurological disorder, she was having some problems with steadiness, and she had taken a few falls. And when I did the report, we went through and we detailed all the things that needed to get changed. So these were just a few of the issues. She had a table extending into her hallway, which was a tripping hazard. And then she had this little side table next to her chair, okay, which if you have any type of vision issue, you're not going to see that table. And that's a really good way for somebody to fall. She had this great balcony with a view of New York City, but she was afraid to go out there because there was a little step over the door frame. So we suggested putting in grab bars so that she could hold on to get over the step and then go outside and enjoy the fresh air and the view to, the view of New York. And one of the biggest issues I see at homes is a lot of people have these area rugs, especially ones with fringes. Area rugs we can deal with to a certain extent because we can tape them down. But when they have fringes, we can't tape those down. So we typically ask to take those out or to put in a different rug that does not have the fringe. Personally, I'd rather have no rug, but sometimes people will fight over that and it's not worth, fighting with them when there are other issues that we could be dealing with that are more important. Next slide, please. Okay, back to bathrooms. So bathrooms, again, such an important issue. I happen to have an 86-year-old mother who has had quite a few accidents in her bathroom. And she is not easy to deal with. So we've had to deal with putting in grab bars when she's not home so that she can get off the floor. Now she actually has somebody that lives with her 24/7. So it's not as much of an issue. But this bathroom was my client who could not, this is in the master bathroom where her husband had to carry her in. And we had to put grab bars in the shower so she could stand up while he was bathing her, which are great. That's a whole corner grab bar. So it really helps, wherever she is in the shower. But if you see in the picture on the right, you see that towel bar? That's a very specific towel bar with a grab bar built into it. Okay, so when we talk about how unsafe bathrooms are, when people tend to get a little dizzy, the first thing they do is they go to grab for their towel bar. But if you don't have the correct one in place, what's going to happen? It's going to pull out of the wall and you're going to fall and you're going to hurt yourself. Okay, I've had too many phone calls where people have gotten dizzy, grabbed their grab bar, fallen, and cracked their head. Okay, so what we do is we replace the towel bars with this type of towel grab bar, and we use a very specific anchor that holds up to 500 pounds. Okay, and these are just one of the many things that can be done to make you safer in your home. Next slide, please. When we're talking about other accessories, this toilet paper holder you're seeing in this bathroom also has a grab bar built into it, and again is installed with these special anchors. Sometimes when people get up from a toilet, they get a little dizzy. So it's nice to be able to have this to hold onto for the steadiness so that then they can move on once they are steady on their feet. On the picture on the right, you can see where it goes from wood floor to tile. There's a step there, but there was nothing to hold on. So this poor woman was never able to go into her living room because she had no way of getting down that step. Now with a handrail, she can actually go down and enjoy her living room, which is nice. Next slide, please. Stair tread tape. I go to a lot of homes, and in a lot of them, they have wood stairs with no carpeting. Now, I happen to have stairs with carpeting, and I have now had 2 accidents on my stairs where I've been hurt, and both because of dogs. So, accidents can happen anywhere, but the whole idea is to not have accidents. So what I do is I install this clear stair tread tape on the wooden stairs, so it gives you a way to not have slippery stairs. Okay, a lot of people I see going up and down the stairs, because I always have people give me tours of their home, and I'll see them wearing socks on stairs with no carpeting, and it's very slippery. Okay, so we're trying to avoid any type of accidents that we can. This stair tread tape can also be used on the exterior stairs. Next slide, please. Okay, very big issue here. So our state code only requires you to have a handrail on one side. But for the safety of all homeowners, you really should have handrails on both sides. When I do my tours, there are a lot of times that I see my clients walking up the stairs and they have stair fright. Okay, and they're holding on to the handrail with both hands and kind of walking almost sideways down the stairs. Okay, they're very frightened by their stairs. So what we do is we add an additional handrail on the other side so that they can hold on with both hands on each side of the stairs and walk down safely and comfortably. There's nothing worse than watching a client have stair fright. Okay, it's very scary for them and there's no reason for it. So installing an extra handrail is not a big deal. It's not expensive, but it definitely helps safety in the home. Next slide, please. Okay, a chairlift. We talked about an exterior chairlift, and now we're going to talk about an interior chairlift. Chairlifts are great. It really makes a huge difference for anybody who has any type of disability or just is too nervous to go up and down the stairs. I actually was doing an assessment at this home, and the wife had been in a nursing home since last September due to a brain surgery. And she could not come home because the house was not anywhere near ready for her to come home. And when I asked them to turn on the stair lift for me, it didn't work. So one of the things that we were doing is we were going to put a stair lift outside, and then they were going to have this one repaired. But stair lifts are excellent and they're very safe and easy to use. And if you have certain types of insurance, they will pay for it. But you'd have to talk to the company, okay, that you're using to find out which insurance is covered, covers it. So next slide, please. A bidet toilet seat. Okay, one of the greatest inventions ever. Bidet toilets have been around for a long time, but they're very expensive. So the company that came out with this particular toilet seat made it very simple. All you do is replace it with the existing toilet seat. You do need to have an outlet nearby, and you change the water supply lines. Now, I have one of these in my house. I think it's the greatest thing in the world, and I have installed them in multiple clients' homes. I just recently put one in a few weeks ago in a client's house, and she said, "Do I need it?" And she has Parkinson's, so hygiene is a big issue. I said, "Well, if you don't like it, let me know after 2 weeks and I'll come and I'll take it out." Well, the next morning she called me and she said, "This is the greatest thing I've ever had." One of the great things about a bidet toilet seat is it gives you dignity. You don't need to have someone else clean you. And that is very important when you're aging in place or living in place. Dignity is extremely important, and so is hygiene. Next slide, please. Smart door locks. One too many. Go back one, please. There you go. Smart door locks are excellent. One of the things I love about the smart door locks, especially if the person does not have family living with them or nearby, is that these locks can be opened from anywhere. You just need the use of a smartphone, and the person has to have Wi-Fi in the house. One of my clients, before she was my client, 95 years old, she fell, she lives by herself. And the son didn't realize till the next day she wasn't answering her phone still. He sent the police. She had fallen. She broke her hip. After she came back from rehab, we did all the modifications before she came home. And one of the first things we did was put in a smart door lock so people can get in. She doesn't have to get up to let them in. Her son can let them in from Massachusetts, where he lives. And it makes life much easier for everybody. Next slide, please. Security cameras. Security cameras are excellent, and I'm a big believer in them. There are so many new technologies that are out, but one of the things that I really liked about the interior security, safety for the cameras, is that you can actually see movement in the house. Okay, it's motion censored. so that you know when they're getting up and they're going into the kitchen. You can see that they're opening the refrigerator, that they're eating, that they're drinking. Dehydration is a very big issue, okay, with seniors, especially with dementia and Alzheimer's. It's very important. You want to know that they're moving around the house, so it's nice to be able to put a few of these in the house if necessary. And now there's new technology that might be a little bit better, but with the camera, you have two-way audio. We have used them in my house for dogs, but not yet. I had one in my mother's house, and it was pointed at next to her bed where her feet would hit the floor. So when she would get up to get out of bed in the middle of the night, it would wake her aide up, and her aide would know she's moving about, so she could check on her and make sure she's okay. So the security cameras are very nice. Next slide, please. So this is a Ring doorbell. I have this at my house. It's very nice to have. One of the reasons I recommend it is more for my clients with dementia and Alzheimer's. And mostly so that if they should leave the home undetected, the family members can go back and look at the video to see what direction they headed in and what they were wearing, so they can call the police and let them know. Okay, this is, it's great. I know Ring doorbells are being used a lot now for theft detection, all kinds of crazy things. But for me, this was more for safety. Next slide, please. Smart light bulbs. Okay, this is a great invention, and this is so easy. They're inexpensive. You can buy a box of them on Amazon for $20. They connect to your Alexa, and you can, if you go out during the day and you're coming home at night, you can actually tell Alexa to turn on your foyer lights or wherever else you put these smart light bulbs. So you're not coming into the dark. They're just a terrific tool to have. So next slide. HVAC controls. So these are very simple to install. They sense the movement in the house to adjust the temperature. But what's really nice is that if you are away and you're coming home it's in the middle of the winter and you went away and it was cold, but you didn't want to have your heat on so high, you can actually go on your smartphone and you can turn the heat up 2 hours before you're coming home so that the house is nice and warm. And you can do the opposite in the summer for air conditioning. When I had a place in Florida, I would actually turn the temperature down before I got on the plane so that the apartment was nice and cold when I got there. One of the things I do like about this for my clients who are seniors or do have Alzheimer's and dementia is that family members can actually go on and make sure that the house has heat on. So if it's 40 degrees outside, they can go on and see that the parent's house is not set at 60. And they can actually turn the heat up to 68 to something that's a little, warmer for them. Because a lot of times seniors just don't remember to turn the heat up. And they can get very cold and get ill. So it's a nice tool. Next slide, please. Induction stoves. So these are wonderful. This induction stove only gets hot where the pan is. So if you happen to touch any other part of this stove, it's ice cold. Okay, and what I like about this is that you cannot start a fire. A lot of times with gas cooktops, people will put their dish rags near it and they'll catch on fire. With this, once you remove the pan, the stove shuts off and it's nice and cool, so you can't get burned, which is extremely nice. The cost of these has dropped dramatically in the last few years, so they're much more affordable. So next slide. Okay, so an electric auto stove shut off. A lot of times people will forget to turn their stove off. And if you have somebody who is older or has Alzheimer's, dementia, that is a reality. So these are very easy. They literally get plugged in. The stove plugs into this and this device plugs into the wall. And you can preset the length of time that the stove is allowed to be on. And if once you hit that time, the stove will shut off automatically. So you don't have to worry about a fire, which is extremely nice. Next slide. And then they also make one for gas stoves, which I think is even more important because with the gas, carbon monoxide is, very dangerous. And after 15 minutes, if they're not near the stove and it does sense a person in, near it, it will shut off. So extremely important for, everybody, especially if you have a family member not living near you, to have one of these installed. Next slide, please. So this is just a burner alert. It attaches to your gas or electric stove knobs to remind you that your burner is on. And it emits an audio or visual alerts anytime the stove knob has been turned on and left on for a pre-programmed interval of time. Amazon Alexa can monitor the burner alert and send you a text message, which is extremely important. And this is available at Home Depot. Very easy to get, very easy to put on. And I recommend them highly. Next slide, please. Okay, so thank you, Disability Rights of New Jersey and NJAW for allowing me to be here today. And if anybody has any questions, please feel free to call me or schedule the 30-minute free telephone consultation. And if anybody has any questions right now, I have a few minutes to answer them.
There was one in the chat about options available for seniors who are living independently but don't have, smartphone, wireless technology. I know that from my experience, one thing is that if they have adult children, they can put that in place, and the parent, doesn't have to worry about learning the smartphone or the technology when someone else has it set up and is monitoring it from a distance. But do you have any other suggestions for that?
Well, they do have to have Wi-Fi in the house. That's a requirement. And in order to use any of the smart technology, there has to be Wi-Fi. Okay.
Yeah, but someone else can put it in. Like, I could put it in my mother's house even if she doesn't. Okay.
Yes, but there are some people who are adamant about not having smart technology. My 95-year-old client absolutely refuses to have it installed in her house. Which becomes a different issue. So yeah, smart technology, having Wi-Fi makes a huge difference, especially for the children of. One of the things that the product that I'm just started showing, and it's not on this slide, but the units are the size of a quarter, and they get put in different locations throughout the apartment or house. And then there's 4, I showed it when I did your conference last month. There's 4 door units that get put on: front and back door, refrigerator, and stove. And these are all connected to a hub through Wi-Fi. And it allows family members who are not living nearby to see motion. They're not actually seeing them. These are just AI motion sensors. So they can see which rooms that they're moving throughout in the home. It's a fabulous new tool that I highly recommend. And in a few years, I'm sure my kids are going to want to put it in my house too. Yes.
Well, you won't resist.
Sorry?
You won't resist technology.
No, not at all. I love technology. Yes. So,
but that was a good question, because people do resist, but that's one of the reasons too that the prevention of the grab bars and the universal design and widening doorways that can prevent falls and prevent injuries is so important to put in. And the examples that Linda you showed they look great. I love the entrance to the houses, and there's one down the street from me where it looks much nicer than a ramp. They just landscaped it, taking out all the steps, built it up. It's a gorgeous house. Yes. And it's fully accessible.
Yeah, I mean, we do this all the time. For me, prevention is the key. And for us to get in there and do the home assessment before somebody has the needs for anything is, really key. Because once you have that accident, it's very hard to come back to the way you were before.
Yes.
So, yes. Any other questions?
Okay, well, I know Linda has to go. And then I was going to pick up on some of the outdoor space and universal design. But thank you very much for joining us.
Oh, my pleasure.
And right,
Oh,
we'll
and
hopefully see you again soon.
I'm sure you will. I'm trying to figure out how to log out now that I lost my other screen. Okay. Well,
I can
thank you.
lock you out.
Okay, terrific. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay. All right. So we're going to talk a little bit about universal design and outdoor space. And this is a presentation that one of our board members, Steve Leone, made for us at our housing series last year. If you could go to the next slide. Sometimes we forget the importance of nature and how much it can benefit people, especially people who have injury or recovering. It really benefits people with dementia to reset them and refresh and reinvigorate them so that they can enjoy themselves. It's a better sense of well-being. It's good for their health and it's good for their mental health. So when people struggle and can't get out and enjoy nature like they used to, bring the nature to them. Next slide. So this is one of my favorite examples of how you can bring in nature for people to enjoy. And they're called vertical gardens or wall gardens, where if you have limited space or someone's moved into an apartment, they've given up their home, or they're still in their home, but they can't get out into the yard like they used to, you can bring the gardening to them by making it vertical and on the wall. Some of the things that we know, the benefits of people having access to nature, it reduces stress and anxiety. It affects your blood pressure and your heart rate. It has a huge impact on mental health, like depression and the quality of sleep. It also just helps people to relax. There's a real connection between our physical health and our surroundings and being able to enjoy natural beauty. Next slide. Some of the positive benefits are, again, the physical exercise involved with gardening and planting. I know when I garden, it's a real workout. It gives people purpose and stimulation that sometimes we don't realize the amount of stimulation we get from nature is the color of and the smell of the flowers. It's the aromas from an herb garden. It's being able to touch and feel the different textures of different plants. And just being able to be aware of your surroundings. One of the things that I love about this is it shows that you can have nature in any kind of space. It doesn't have to be a big yard. You can bring it close to you. If you notice in these pots, there's a variety of plants at a variety of levels. So if someone is, walking or upright, they can bend over and smell the flowers. If they're restricted in a wheelchair or a scooter, they're still able to get close and to access them. So by shifting, like, what do we think of a garden? It doesn't have to be in a yard. It doesn't have to be large plants. We can bring gardens closer to people by bringing it to, into their patio and their smaller space. Next slide, please. Now, some of the elements of a great garden or an outdoor space are, of course, shade from the sun for part of the year, comfortable furniture and furniture that's accessible and age appropriate. If you can see in this, all of the chairs have arms on them to make it easier for people to get up. Water features are very calming and refreshing. Raised planters, so people can get in there if they want to garden. Make sure that the plants are safe. They're not going to cause allergies to people or to pets. And also choosing plants and elements that attract birds and butterflies and well, we want bees for pollination, but reflect the safer insects that people can enjoy the full elements. You can even have, herbs and vegetables so people can use that for their food and really feel that they are connected and able to garden like they used to. Um, One of the most important things when it's outdoors is to have a safe walking area, to not have steps, can be like easily landscaped to even that out, to have smooth walking paths that don't accumulate water or wooden ice over, and to just make sure that it's wide enough for somebody who's using either a wheelchair or a walker or any assisted device. Even walking with a cane or a crutch requires extra width for where you're walking. So outdoor space can include all of these things to make it safe and enjoyable for people as they age. Next slide. And these are some great examples of what can be done in a small space. I love the large water fountain on the top left. It looks like a pop, but it's actually a water feature. And then the one on the right too. It could small area, great feature, very relaxing. We can have water fountains that have, a tiered approach. You can put in just about any kind of water feature in any space you have, large or small. As small as it looks like a regular planter to digging up the garden and making something with a waterfall. But it's one of the simpler elements you can add that they're just beautiful and very calming for people. Next slide. And I love the raised garden beds. So whether you're just enjoying it, to see the flowers, or you want to get in and garden like you used to, the raised beds make it accessible so people don't have to bend over. If they have bad knees or hip, they're not getting up and down from the ground anymore. And as you can see on some of these, especially the one in the upper right, if you, again, have any kind of walking device, you can get up really close to that. Plus, that one can be moved. You have to move it into the sun and then closer to the house at a different time of day. It can be shared. It is really can be used in a variety of ways to help people. On the bottom left, what I like, it's kind of hard to see, but there's a built-in bench, a sitting area, so you can be right there among the flowers and enjoy them. And you can also see the varied heights on the right, but how wide and smooth that walking area is. So whether it's a patio, it could be a community garden, it could be, a public space or your own private space. But the raised garden beds they're beautiful, they add color, and people can still interact with nature like they used to. The next slide. Now, enclosing space or using, changing your windows to bring the garden inside is a great way to do it. Anything could be like bumping out a window for the bay window on the bottom left, where you could have your indoor plants. You get a lot of sunlight. It also might attract, birds and more insects to come closer to you. There are even some that have a bird feeder attached, so the birds will come right up to your window and see them. Or if you have some indoor space, to have that raised bed, potted plants that people can use and access, or enclosing what used to be an outdoor patio, enclosing it like the top left, so that it becomes an all-season room. You could control the heat so it's not too hot in the summer, but it's not cold in the winter. Make it feel like you're outside and you have access to the great outdoors, where you're really in a safer environment. And you can see there the level of these, how the height of all of these, so people again can access the plants without bending over, and how wide and flat the walking area is. Naomi, I think that was my last one. Is there one more slide? Oh, here we have something that is so simple but has such a huge impact, are just bird feeders. They're a great gift for the older people in your life, bringing the birds closer, bringing nature closer so people can see it out the window. Just think of how much you might enjoy sitting in a backyard now. Well, what if you can't access it? What if you can't get outside, or it's the weather's bad and you don't want to slip, or you've had an injury and you can't get in and out like you used to? Something as simple as a bird feeder can really connect us with nature. It's a simple, inexpensive gift and can have a great benefit for people. Now that probably was the last slide. Do we have one more, Naomi? Oh, no. I had them out of order. The other thing that we recommend is wind chimes, just to remind people of what's out there. They're in all sorts of shapes, sizes, tones. You can, you have a great variety to choose from at a wide price range. And even decorating a tree outside for that enjoyment, for that great view outside the window, to give people a little more pleasure, make them connect to nature. These are some really simple things that you can do that would have a big impact. Next slide. Some other things that can be done with your outdoor space to connect you to community is the little free libraries. They've been popping up all over under COVID. By putting that in, it builds community close to you. It can share books. Some people have shared seeds, shared food, even shared games and puzzles, but little things to make your outside area better, or put in so that, your neighbors who are going for a walk, maybe older adults to go for a walk every day, can check on it, come and see it, and really reconnect and be part of the community. If you have any work going on in your town and they're working on the playgrounds and parks, advocate for older adults and look at the bottom left, how wide and flat those areas are, having benches in place with arms on it so that everybody can get up and down easier, and also having it in the shade. So think of when Public Works is redoing a playground or working on the park. This is a really great example to be inclusive of older adults or people who have a hard time navigating the uneven terrain or navigating the grass. This is a way to include everybody and let them use that outdoor space. So, when you're thinking about connecting to the outdoor space, think of what you can do right outside your door too, and what you can share with the rest of the community. Next slide.
That is it. Any questions?
That was the last one.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. I hope I did that justice. The original speakers were, had a lot more experience and examples, but I think in both of these, what we showed inside and outside, the concept of universal design is open to everyone, and small things can have big impact. It's also enjoyable. It's attractive. It's pleasant. It can help anybody at any age. I think people resist because they don't want it to look like, oh, it makes me look old if I have the handrail. But some of the examples that Linda showed, like the front porch with the rail, beautiful. So it doesn't have to be a choice of safety or design. You can have safety and design. You had a resources page there, Naomi. Oh, you get them all there. All right. So do we have any questions? All right. Thank you for joining us. We will send you the recording and post it on our website. We do have our next webinar coming up the second Wednesday in November. And Naomi, I don't have it handy. Do you remember that topic?
I think it's going to be on medications.
Yes.
AT for
Yes.
medication and management. November 8th.
So hopefully we will see you then. Thank you for joining us. I want to thank Linda and Naomi for organizing this and for speaking today, and we will see you again soon.